Hi, bestie. Welcome back to Girl House.
Happy Friday.
Yeah,
If you're listening to this right now, 1 week until our new favorite album comes out.
I'm actually pretty excited myself. I don't know if I told you this, and I feel like you'd make too big out of a deal out of it, but I've been
Mhm.
excited too. I've been listening to the last album a lot, like again, and it reminds me so
Yeah.
much of a certain time.
I
I just
know.
will never forget, like, you told me as a manifestation technique to listen to the prophecy and picture
Mhm.
all of my exes. So every single time I'm like trying to manifest now, I just like go for like a drive at
Mhm.
night and I play that and I just picture them like all different moments just passing by.
Wow. I forgot I said that, but that was truly wise.
I'll never forget because we were outside and it was when I was still like trying to manifest Surfer Boy
Mm.
and you were like
Typical.
and you were like,
So 2024 coded, yeah.
yeah, so 2024 coded. I mean, yeah, note to self, don't overly talk about a man you don't know on a podcast and text him often.
Well, I remember coming home from work and you were like I don't remember, like, the exact quote or anything, but you were like, "Yeah, I've listened to the album." I was
I
like
no, it was when you were on the way to work, not coming home from.
right, you
Because
said you were listening or
yeah,
something, just something, and I just remember pure euphoria in this moment.
I was rollerblading and I called you to tell you I was listening to the album.
Right, right.
Yeah,
Anyway,
that was in
um,
the rollerblading era. She's like always been a big staple. I've rollerbladed my whole life. It's a great workout, but I lately don't feel comfortable doing it again. I never felt comfortable doing it, but
hmm. Why don't you feel comfortable now?
I never do. It's just like you're exposed.
Yeah.
It's along the
But
PCH.
sometimes I thought you had that feeling where you felt like epic rollerblading along the PCH.
I don't know if I ever felt epic.
Okay.
And the problem is like the path, it's great if there's no sand on it, but when there's sand on it, it's quite slippery. I've
Mm.
never fallen, but if I
Oh my
did,
god. Top fear.
yeah.
Yeah.
I already fall in front of people. I was like, because I posted on my story last night, and I'm not sure if you can relate, but I think my top three most embarrassing things are number one, falling in front of people.
Mhm.
Number two, this is something I have to deal with every single day, but crossing the street like literally makes me want to die.
Yeah,
It's one
I
thing when
get
it's
that.
a red light and like everyone has to be stopped, but often when I'm crossing the street, it's like at, like, one of those crosswalks where you press the button and it flashes, and yeah, no, it's just, like, a very different thing when cars have to stop for you. It's not because they have a red light or a stop sign, and then you have
Mm.
to, like it's so rude not to wave, of course, so I always wave, but then it's also awkward waving, so I often just look down and wave, like, slightly, like, by my side, but then I'm worried it looks like I'm, like, saying, like, "Stop,"
Oh,
like,
yeah, I just do, like, a
whatever.
casual, like, I don't even look.
No, me neither.
But you know what, actually? Um, that's worse? As I told you, 2 days ago, when I was leaving Pilates, I was the one having to stop, except they were filming a movie,
Oh,
and
yeah.
what's worse is that me in the background, no matter who it is, I fear I always give, like, angry face when I'm in
Me
my
too.
car.
Yeah.
So, that's really great.
Well, you might be in the background, but I feel like if you were in the background, because I'm actually in the background of a reality TV show, believe it or not.
Which
But we
one?
had to sign a form.
No, but they have, like, posted
Yeah.
everywhere.
You okay?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I'm screwed.
I'll be in the background of an episode of The Valley. I've never seen it, but the friend
Oh
I was
my
with was a
god.
huge fan. They were filming the table over,
Mhm.
and it was super official. We had to sign like a whole release form.
Where were you?
El Coyote.
Oh my god, that's iconic.
Yeah, I'll have to start watching the show, I've never seen it, but I
Yeah.
kept just looking back at the camera crew, so I'll probably just look like a freak. They'll
Like,
be
they have to edit it so they can finally get it so it looks like you're not staring the whole time.
yeah, I was just interested.
Yeah. No, I know. It actually is kinda cool, like, just watching it because I feel like everyone's gone here now, except for on weekends, it's, like, super packed. I'm still
Yeah.
on Nantucket for everyone listening, and it's mostly, like, a lot of people leave when school starts end of summer. Um, and so, like, they're really just, like, in town filming nonstop.
Yeah,
So,
that's so
yeah.
yeah.
But it's not like there's, like, no distance, like, you're just really like, you could just sit and watch, but I
I
obviously am not gonna do that.
Oh, I would love to do that. I'll never forget,
Oh,
and I
yeah.
never got to see them, but in my building I lived in New York, 60
Mhm.
Water Street, Reese Witherspoon and Ashton Kutcher, I don't really care about him. I love
Your
Reese
dream.
Witherspoon.
Yep.
She was in the lobby filming, and I missed it.
Yeah.
I mean, we weren't allowed to go in the lobby, it was closed off, but my friend still saw her somehow.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, that's my epic news, which I already told you today, but Jennifer Garner was in my Pilates class in the
Yeah,
reformer next
I
to me, and she'll
literally
be
can't
there later. Yeah.
I can't believe that. She just seems like the nicest woman ever. Like, I think, like, for I would be extremely starstruck if I saw her, but I
Yeah.
also feel like she has such a I also feel like
Nice
such a
aura, like,
comforting
friendly to
presence.
everyone. Not that I
Like,
know her, but she was literally talking to everyone in the class, like,
no,
just so friendly.
I, like, totally believe that, like, 90% of Hollywood is, like, not nice, but, like,
100%, yeah.
her and Reese
Not 100%, but I
Witherspoon
agree 100%, yeah.
yeah. Her and Reese Witherspoon, I feel like are the just the 2 nicest women.
Also, like,
I'd
you
feel
can
so you
be
know that, like, TikTok trend where it's like, who would you feel comfortable in around in a bikini?
yeah,
Reese and Jennifer Garner. I would be scared shitless to
yeah.
be in a bikini in front of Nicole Kidman.
Oh my god, same,
That would be
same.
like,
No, I would
I
be
feel
scared shitless if Nicole Kidman was in
I'd be
my
scared to do
yeah,
anything around her, but
same. No, literally same, even though I adore her.
I do too. I would just be yeah.
Yeah, but I will say another thing, is that, like, she was making comments about, like, because obviously it must be a lot when everyone's, like, talking like, it wasn't weird. She's been going to the classes, and she was super, like, just talkative and friendly or whatever, and she's been taking this one instructor's classes, so they kind of know each other now, but, like, obviously, you must know when you're in the room that, like, everyone kind of knows who you are or whatever, especially, like, small town. But
Yeah.
she was making comments about how hard things were, like, clearly she's in peak shape and, like,
Yeah.
just trying to make everyone else feel better and, like, joking, like, she's just a
Yeah.
normal girl. Like,
But
that's just an
you know, I
awesome person.
yeah,
Nicole Kidman would not make comments about how hard it was.
she would not.
I'm sure she didn't need to make those comments.
No.
A
13
girl's
Ghosts and
girl.
30 is literally one of my favorite movies ever, and I can't believe
I
you
know,
haven't
I
seen it.
need to watch it, it's so bad.
I would be no, I guess I wouldn't be nervous to do would I be nervous to do were you nervous?
No.
Wow.
I mean that on my life, just because, again, I don't wanna, like this is, like, getting to be too much talking about it, but it was just, like, she just acted like anyone else. It was just a really good
Yeah.
also, the Pilates studio is just such a good environment. I really, 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 really want you to go when you come for closing weekend. In fact, I'm gonna try booking you as a friend as soon as it is released on
Okay,
Friday morning.
or just send me the link and I'll book it.
Yeah, they just go super quick, so I'd rather just book you as a friend.
Okay, book me
We
as
don't
a
need
friend.
to discuss this right now, but yeah, just 'cause it'll be, like, ready to go because Friday morning, I have the day off, and that would be super fun, and you'll be here by then, correct?
Yeah, I will. Basically, this weekend, next weekend, and then the weekend after is the movie with you? I think
Mhm.
so.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, not long at all. It's gonna be
I know,
ep
it sounded I know, it sounded way closer than when you were just describing it, or it
Did
feels
you
way closer
did you pause because 'cause you're struggling?
because I just interrupted you.
Yeah, no, Celia and I are really, really, struggling right now because I've noticed when I'm editing, what we both I know everyone thinks that I am the main interrupter, which is fine, but I would say as the editor, I think we both interrupt each other often, not in a bad way, it's just, I think because we read each other's minds and know like, we just, like so anyway, I could tell you were about to do it there, we're trying really hard not to talk over each other because it brings the quality down, like, I've noticed when we interrupt each other, so it's something we're really struggling with, but we're working on it.
Yeah, I would like to say that, like, to me, it is actually the way that we communicate because have just been friends for so long, we kind of finish each other's sentences with for lack of sounding corny. I'm not even joking. But in a podcast format, it's just not really appropriate. So we
It's
need
super
to
not
work, and
a
there you go. And again, but like it's so difficult because we just want to like it's just how we talk in real life. So
Yeah,
working on waiting for the other person to finish is hard. Yeah.
really working on it. It's tough. Um, I guess we'll just get into today's topic, which is texting an ex, moving on from an ex, finding out your ex has a new girlfriend when you don't have a new boyfriend, etc. I think I haven't not been honest with you, but I also have not shared things. Now it's been enough time that I feel comfortable to share things. And does this make me feel kind of embarrassed to talk about when I'm about to discuss? Definitely, because Celia and I have learned the hard way that even people we don't think are listening to the podcast are listening. That just made me feel sick to my stomach when I said that, just because I can think of a lot of instances where Celia and I yeah. Anyway, um, I I'm going to share this these updates with you in hopes that it can perhaps help you because I'm actually feeling super positive about everything. I don't feel sad or upset at all, and I think in
You're ready.
Celia's words, part of girlhood really is texting an ex, hanging out with an ex, finding out your ex is dating someone. Like that's just part of girlhood, something we all go through. And it is like kind of embarrassing to talk about, but it happens. I'm already feeling awkward.
I believe I called it one of the great pillars of girlhood, which I just don't think
Yeah.
stands true. But
Oh, that's a really good title. The Great Pillars, but
but
I feel
I don't think that's appropriate use.
yeah.
Is it a pillar of girlhood, texting an
I
ex? I
don't
mean,
know. I
kind of. I
kind
mean,
of.
because obviously this whole episode is really relating to your personal experience that you're going through, we figured I would go ahead and kind of ask Callie some probing questions and see that maybe that will help her share her truth. So let's bring it back to where it started. Why don't you give us a little backstory, you know, when you were dating, why you broke up, kind of how it ended. Let's
Oh.
start there.
Wow, I mean, I feel like we did a whole episode about that, but yeah, I mean, why did we break up? Because, long story very short, and then if I was gonna say things in the nicest way possible, and I guess I'll keep things nice if you wanna hear all the nitty-gritty details, refer back to said emergency episode posted in February.
And I guess also, just because I just want to interject while I can here, not as much why, but how were you feeling when it
Ah,
ended?
okay.
That's what I meant.
Yes, thank you for the clarification.
Before we went down a slippery slope there. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, I mean, it is a slippery slope. Long story short, I broke up with him, though I found out in recent events this is how much of a gaslighter he is. I'm not going to talk negatively about him. I will just say one thing, and I know if he's listening, he would of course disagree and say I was immature, but I just like I know this is true. Um because I've seen it before. He is your classic narcissist gaslighter. That's all I really need to say about that. And gaslighting in the sense that what I'm about to get into, I found out post breakup that he actually now claims that he broke up with me, even though I literally had him over to my house with the sole purpose of breaking up with him. I broke up with him and then he left.
Men.
Anyway,
Yeah.
how was I feeling when we broke up? Um, Devastated. I hate breakups, and I think there was like a heightened emotion because you had just moved out of LA. I didn't
Mhm.
really have that many friends. I was feeling insecure about myself, and I also felt like embarrassed because it was a 2-month relationship and I was like really sad. And also, the day we broke up on Valentine's Day, and I sat at home crying, and he just said, "See ya," and went to the bar.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
yeah, there was like, I was the sad one.
So that's sort of where you were at, and then when or how or why did sort of this reintroduction, because you didn't talk for a long time.
No.
So bring us to like the stage where you were sort of talking and as much as you want to share
So
there.
I blocked him in February
Mhm.
after he sent me a very crude message, along the lines of "Ha ha 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 ha. You're the fakest person I know. I feel sorry for you."
Mhm.
Um, which I
Actually, quick point of view from my perspective, I was actually cleaning out my apartment as we were moving, and I was there that week to clean out my space.
yeah.
And Callie was just sat in a chair outside because if you remember the OG girl house where Callie had the house and I had the unit that was sort of like the garage apartment unit.
Yeah.
And so she was sat in the yard. She had brought a chair over and just sat outside of my I had the doors open, I was cleaning. She was just sat there. We were playing like songs and I kept thinking to myself, "Oh no, this is kind of like a breakup song. Oh no, oh no." She's sitting there like because she had just
Yeah.
gotten this text and she was just sat there watching. I'm like, "Oh my god."
No, I was thinking well, also because, like, that he knew exactly that's the one way
No.
to come for my character, that is the one way you will
Yeah, that
upset
was just
me,
cruel.
like and, like I later found out because I never knew, I think that was what bothered me too, I never knew what that text was about, I was like, "Is it because I already downloaded Hinge, or, like, is it because of the podcast episode?" It was neither. It was he saw my TikTok of me posting I don't know exactly which one it was, but I was posting on TikTok,
Mhm.
being upset, etcetera, and obviously, because I have the best besties in the world, getting quite a lot of support, and
Mm.
I'm sure he was reading anti-him comments because that's
Mhm.
so him, and just, like, fuming. Like, I'm sure that, like, probably
Yeah,
but,
that checks
mm,
out.
so anyway, I blocked him, and then in April, he had reached out to Celia. You're welcome to share from your point of view. He sent you some text along the lines of, "Hope you're doing well."
Yeah, this is
Thinking
always a hard one as a best friend. I'm sure a lot of you can relate. And this is, Callie's been on the receiving end of it for me. It's like you get a message from your best friend's ex. Do you tell them and have them potentially feel sad or spiral or just, it's obviously never going to be good. But then if
yeah.
you don't tell them, it's like, what sort of best friend are you? And there
For
are
me
some situations where maybe it's like, okay, this is something we're really not gonna talk about for a while, but for me, I was just like, I had to tell her. I remember
I
debating it
was
for, like, 24 hours, I think, right? I don't remember how
no, you
long.
debated it for, like, 1 hour.
Okay. Well, maybe I'm a bad friend, but I just felt wrong not telling you. It feels weird because we talk about everything, so,
I
yeah.
would be really upset if you didn't tell me something like that, no matter the
Yeah,
situation. For me
yeah.
personally, I prefer transparency. I think, like, telling your best friend something like that is fine. I think it's more like, let's say you've found out my ex was saying really mean things about me or, like, dissing me.
Oh, yeah,
Like,
you
that
loved when he reached out, so, yeah, it was satisfying
yeah,
for
it
you.
was super satisfying. If it was, like, something that was gonna embarrass me and was not helpful information at all, then I
Right.
wouldn't hear about it.
But the fear that I'm trying to explain
You
is
thought it
that
would start things up again.
right. When you know someone, in your opinion, has is not the best match for your friend, then, like,
Likely.
you know your friend, like, very well, and you just don't want things to start again where if you know it's not a good match, but then it's like,
Yeah.
"Who am I to say?" But anyway.
Yeah, but
So I told
anyway,
you. He reached out
I
and he was like, "Hey, do you mind, telling Callie to unblock me or something like that? Or do you
ha
mind if I can
ha, he
get
left a
through?"
ha ha at the end. That always stood
Yeah.
out to everyone I showed the message to.
I'm like, "Haha, not answering."
Yeah. And then, I did not unblock him.
Yeah.
I was like, "That's epic of me."
Yeah.
But basically and I will get into why I am actually glad, and this I am not recommending you unblock your ex or text your ex, I'm just saying in my situation, I think this is I'm not upset about any of it. I think it was helpful for me because I have a problem of, like, when I get further away from people, envisioning a better vision of them than exists. That being said, I do not recommend doing this. I'm just saying in retrospect, I don't have any regrets, I guess.
Got it. Yeah.
Um, This is something I wasn't honest. I mean, I wasn't dishonest, but I had a lot of questions, post, Celia's birthday weekend of what I was reeling over. And I did allude to the fact that I opened a lot of doors.
Mhm.
Some doors I don't need to discuss that they're open and closed and open and closed. Are any doors that are still open? I
Well,
don't.
that's something that I'd like to input. It wasn't all about him, so I really don't think you were
Yeah.
dishonest. You
No, it
opened
wasn't
a
all
lot
about.
of doors, one of them just happened to be his.
Yes. And basically I
But it
snuck.
wasn't more significant than any of the others,
Yeah.
really. Sorry to interrupt. Carry on.
This was in July, the beginning of July. I snuck away and I called him up on the phone when I was plastered and we talked for 30 minutes. I have no idea.
And that's why she, quote unquote, "lost us" because she was outside yapping her little heart away.
Yeah. Anyway, he texted me the next morning, and at this point, like, I was just honestly he sent me some strange selfie videos that icked me out, and I just wasn't interested at all. Unfortunately, we kept drinking over the weekend, and then, I did respond
Yeah, but
again.
I don't think, I mean, I guess deep down you probably were, but even when you left, I really didn't think that
Yeah.
you weren't that interested at this point,
No, I
genuinely.
wasn't. It was a bad mix because it was then I went home to my parents' house, and that's where I have a lot of
Mm,
time to think.
this always
And
happens to you there.
yes, it always does. And so I was just, like, starting to feel really anxious that he was, like, unblocked. But I still
Mm.
was like, "I'm not gonna hang out with him." But then I got back to LA and
Wait, really quick, can you explain what you mean by anxious that he was unblocked?
because then I, like, knew now, like, the door is open. That is an open
So
door.
anxious about your own self or about him, like
Anxious in the sense that, like, is he gonna text me? Is he not gonna text me?
got it, got it. Like, before it was like, even if he's texting you, you wouldn't see it, but now it's like you're
Yeah.
constantly looking at your phone, like, "Is he going to?"
And when
Got it.
someone's blocked, like, you can kind of, like you can pretend they're texting you all you want, like.
Right, yes,
But,
okay,
like, when
got
they're
it.
unblocked, if there's a lack of, for
Mm,
example, I
mhm,
think that's what gave me more anxiety,
yeah.
um,
No, that makes sense.
you know, but, yeah, then when I got back to LA, like, a few days later, I did go to a Spotify event where I drank a lot because it was pretty awkward. Me and my friend were just like, "Well, let's have the free drinks," and then, of course, we went to another bar. And I did text him, and he asked me if I wanted to come over to have wine. I kept saying no. Then I finally just agreed. And then as I'm leaving, he goes, "Are you driving?" And I was like, "Absolutely not. I just drank so much, I will be Ubering." And he was like, "Oh, well, I don't have any wine here. Can you grab some?" And I had to he invited me over. This is just like
I actually, like, can't even, sorry, pardon my interruption, I cannot even, I
no.
forgot about this.
Yeah, this is a metaphor for our entire relationship. I don't know if that's the right verbiage, but,
Uh-huh.
um, he had me Instacart 2 bottles of wine and a snack to his house. He was inviting me over for wine, and I had to Instacart the wine to his house.
Never forget when, we lived in New York and one of your friends invited you over, but then they asked you to get the alcohol on the way, and you thought that was the most despicable thing, you could never hang out with someone like
Yeah.
this.
Well, I did.
And
Yeah.
here we are.
I've actually talked to my therapist, my ex-therapist about it. She thinks it's a pattern I have. I tend to provide for people a bit
I
too
would agree.
much.
Yeah, I would
Um
agree.
But I also find myself in relationships with men where they take advantage of it. So,
Yeah, you just deserve in your relationship someone who's going to fully provide for you, and that was
yeah,
not the case in this relationship.
I would say I provided 90%.
Yeah.
And I also drove us everywhere. It's just I did everything. Um, that being said,
So how was the night? You went over.
so I went over, the first thing he said was, "Why are you wearing that? Or why are you dressed like that?" Because I was in, like, a skirt, boots, and, like, cute top, like, I was coming from an event, I was dressed nice,
Mhm.
and I never really dressed nice when we were hanging out, I guess, but he was like yeah, I was like, "I'm coming from an event." Anyway, honestly, it felt amazing. I think there's not a bigger high than hanging out with your ex when they want to see you and you're on top and you're a little drunk and
Yeah.
they're just, like, trying to talk to you. So I was just acting like I did not care at all.
Yeah.
Um, and it was, like, really fun until, of course, then we kept drinking. Oh my god, was I hungover? We had 2 bottles of wine after I was already yeah. So, of course
Ah, yes, you called me in the morning and were like, "Guess where I am?"
yeah,
Yes.
of course, basically, the night did lead to me crying, and it did lead to us, of course, hooking up. That's just how usually a drunken hang with your ex goes. I woke up there in the morning, and
You were like, "I need to get out of here," when you
no,
called
I
me.
called Celia because we had hooked up again in the morning, and I don't remember exactly what he said, but he's just not really a kind person, and he said something along he was just not really being nice to me already.
Yeah.
Like, he can only fake it for so he can fake it for about 30 seconds of being nice, and then it's
Yeah.
like, "Okay, I'm done." Um,
No, he said something actually I don't remember either,
no,
but it
I
was
know
like,
exactly what he
"Really?"
said. I was just gonna say, in the words of Lana Del Rey, um you act like Mr. Brightside around all your friends, but I know what you're like when the party ends. I made some comment about like, "Are you serious? You're already being rude," like, right after we had hooked up,
Yeah.
and he was like, "What?" He was like, "You expect, like, married couples to be all lovey-dovey after they have sex?" And I was like,
Get
yeah,
out of there.
honestly, and that's actually exactly what you said to me." And then, I was gonna get an Uber, but he said he'd drop me off, but he wouldn't drop me off at my house, he dropped me off in front of his work, so then had me get an Uber. So it
No,
was like,
I, like,
met
actually, this
me
is so
halfway.
painful to relive, like, it's
Yeah.
so painful.
So then I was like, "Okay, I'm never gonna see him again, ever," but then we hung out, like, that weekend, and we basically went on, like, a 3-day bender together, and it was really fun, but then I was, like, getting a little too deep into it because I was, like we were, like, cosplaying dating, like,
Yeah.
and we just spent the whole weekend and also our entire relationship with each other was always just drinking, like, there was never really anything there except we would drink.
As we love to say, like, it's not that hard to
You can
feel
like anyone with
romantic
drinking.
fantasy when you're drinking,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. But, like, I would say for the most part, he was on his best behavior that weekend, so then I was just
Yeah.
feeling, like, a little, like, "Oh, this is," I was feeling like I was in too deep. Then I was getting really anxious because
Mhm.
I was like, "I know I could never get back together with this man."
And you were kind of telling, like, me and all your loved ones, like, "Oh, it's haha funny, like,
Yeah,
I will never actually like him," and then all of a sudden I remember you being like, "Oh, shoot."
yeah. Because it's just it brings up old yeah, and
Yeah,
it's like
valid.
yes.
It's,
So I was
again, a
feeling
pillar of girlhood.
yeah, so I was feeling really anxious, and then the last weekend we hung out was, like, day drinking once it's always just a bender. Like, I will say, like, me and him, like, we do not bring out good parts of each other. Like, I will I think he's not a kind person. I think I am a kind person, but he does bring out the worst in me. Um, anyway, we did hang out and it was a bender and things were going well until they were not going well. Um, and I just am not even going to get into detail about the whole evening. Let's just say it was about as worst as you could possibly imagine. Um, and he left in the morning and like I knew I was like I like said to him like I'm definitely never going to see you again. Um, cuz I knew I could never hang out with him after that night. But then he was like, "Oh, I'll see you in a week." And still, even though, like, basically the reason I'm grateful for this night is that it really showed me, like, wow, he's actually even worse than I thought he is. And, like, it was, like, a very bad night. Um, yeah. So, my whole point being that, like, I, like, went and, like, hung out with my friend that night and, like, went over to her house and watched a movie because I just needed, like, a comforting night. I was feeling really weird about everything. And I knew, like, once I told my friends about, like, that evening, they were all like, "Okay, this isn't funny anymore. Like, you literally cannot hang out with him ever again." Obviously, I agreed. because of the evening, but there was still, like, a part of me, like, because it had been so fun, like, there was, like, a little part of me that was, like, not even wanting to hang out with him again. I didn't wanna hang out with him again. Maybe, like, part of me did, honestly, but, like, I still wanted him to want to talk to me. I
It's
guess
sort of
that.
like any addiction. I don't think you were addicted to him by any means, but it's like you can tell people as much like anyone who loves you can tell you anything, but like it's only going to stop if you want it to stop.
Yeah,
Not
for
to
sure,
make it that dramatic, like it really wasn't that dramatic, but it's like we all said block him, yada yada, but like
and I
at
wouldn't.
the end of the day, it's up to you because that realistically, like you're the one that had the relationship, and it's only going to be over when you say it's over.
Yeah. No, I kept making up excuses saying I wouldn't. That's
And I'm
very
just saying
fair.
it because you're beyond it now, like, we can talk
Yeah.
about it, but I mean, it's been right roles reversed too, like, anyone, it's like the person who's actually has the feelings and is in the relationship, it's they have to come to terms with it themselves.
Yeah, definitely. Um, so yeah, that being said, I, did not wanna block him, and then there was just, like, this lingering still, like, is he gonna text me? Is he not gonna text me? And he
Mhm.
wasn't texting me, so I was just like he'd react to my stories every now and then, but, like, he wasn't texting me, so then I was just feeling kinda like, ugh, like, I knew I could never hang out with him again, I knew we could never date again, but I still wanted him to want me. Like,
Yeah.
that's the problem because like, I went from, like, him really trying to get me to hang out with him, text him back, like, he was like I just felt so on top
The
because
switch up
I
is infuriating.
had him,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden now roles are reversed and, like, not that I wasn't texting him. Is that true? For the most part, yeah,
No,
but,
you
like,
weren't texting him. He just wasn't all over you.
yeah, and so that felt really bad, and so then, and this is where the story ends, but I, like, am so glad this happened. So I did text him and we were, like, chatting because basically me and my friend, we had some drinks and she was actually on the phone with her ex and I was like, "What ex can I call up?" And I was like, "Well,
He sounds like a good fit.
none of them really are appropriate candidates." But of course, I texted him and we were, like,
That's
just
the thing
chatting.
about Callie, pardon my interruption, I know that was
Yeah.
bad. This is just kind of funny. When Callie decides to text an ex, it's not a singular ex. She
Yeah.
decides to pull out her, you'll love this, Rolodex of every man she has ever spoken to within the last depends on how tipsy she is, typically, like, within the last 5 years, and she will hit all their lines. She
Uh,
will say she'll think of something she thinks is funny, and she will just fire away.
I
It is
do.
never just one person, it's the person that responds that becomes the target.
Yeah. No,
But you are
exactly.
the only maybe not the only person I know, but it's just hilarious your amount of, trigger fingers,
It's
Twitter fingers.
it's just a blast in the moment, like,
Yeah, but it's
it's just
never
like
1, I would just like to put an emphasis on that.
yeah,
It is
no, even
always minimum 5.
this evening it wasn't 1, it was at least 4.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
not all of them, like, complete exes, but, like,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah, all people that are far in the past now that I don't need to be talking to.
yeah.
Um, anyway, basically then I sent a message saying, "Do you miss me?" And he
Oh.
responded saying, "I have to tell you something about my personal life." And I said, "I don't wanna hear it." Because to be honest, I didn't.
Classic.
I knew what he was gonna say, like,
Yeah.
and so anyway,
Wait, yeah,
I
you physically wrote out, "I don't wanna hear it."
yes.
Oh, the
I
drama.
said, "I don't want to hear about it."
Yeah.
And then he said, "You don't even know what I was going to tell you." And then I said, "What? You're in a relationship?" And he goes, "Yep." Spelled YEAP.
Yeep,
Yeah.
yeep, yeep. Oh,
And
I
so
wish that would be the title, "Yeep," but obviously it doesn't give enough
it doesn't give
context.
any yeah, that is a good
It's
one
just, like,
though.
unbelievable, you never told me it was "yeep." I
Yeah.
thought you said "yep," you never explained that I was
Well, like, so, like, I imagine he was
Y-E-A-P.
saying it like, "Yep." Yep.
Oh my god, that is just tragic. Carry on.
Yeah, and
Oh my god, as
which
if it couldn't get
I
worse.
yeah, to which I said
Beep.
yeah.
I'll never get over that. I'm sorry, you did not tell me that.
Yeah,
Wow,
to which I said, "Congrats, happy for you." To which he
that was
said,
nice.
"Thank you," with a star emoji. Like, the shooting
Gold
star.
star for oh god.
Yeah. Not the shoot like, the star that has, like, the little
Yeah,
sh
I know. I know what you meant, yeah.
yeah.
Oh god.
So it was just obviously, like, my gut reaction was to shed tears
Yeah.
because, like, no one ever wants to hear that their ex is in a relationship, no matter, like, you just, like, never wanna hear that.
No.
Um,
It's the feeling of rejection, it's
yeah.
not yeah.
Especially, like, when you're not in a relationship and they are, it's like,
Yeah.
my initial reaction was I felt embarrassed, and could I feel embarrassed about the whole exchange if I wanted to still? Yes.
Yep.
Yep.
I'll never get over that, and it's like the star emoji that he uses kinda like wrapping it up with a bow, like, "Thank
Yeah.
you."
Yeah. Yes.
Fireworks, like, oh my god, what an yeah, I'll hold my tongue.
But after the after the initial cry, and it was really not a long cry, I just called
Mm.
Celia really quickly and chatted about it, and then I
Just a really quick cry. No, it was actually, like, a very tamed cry, I will say.
yeah. No, I wasn't
It
devastated
wasn't
at all.
dry heaving, it wasn't like
Yeah.
it was
I
just
would
like
say it was I well, not even sobbing, it was just
no.
gentle tears.
Yeah, truly, no.
And it was more just like a guttural reaction,
Yeah.
if that's the right word. Um, but then, like, hours passed, not even hours, it really didn't actually affect me that much, and I think this was, like, what I needed, because my whole point about this whole situation and why I'm sharing it is not to tell you to text your ex or find out what they're doing, but, like, I guess for me, this was good because it finally cut it off. Like, when I broke up with him, then I was really sad. I felt like I couldn't reach him, like, whatever. Then we hang out again, and I feel like he is not out of reach. He's very attainable. And then, I, like, start feeling weird again, and, like, I like, still there's that linger, that, like, wonder, but now that I know he's in a relationship on top of the events that happened the last time we hung out, like, I
Mhm.
just, like there's nothing lingering anymore, like, him having a girlfriend doesn't make me feel sad, it makes me feel relieved in the sense that now I know, like, we will never speak again, ever. I
Yeah.
officially blocked him
He's
and
no
everything,
longer in your
and
orbit.
now there's not like an unblock situation now because 'cause I'm not gonna text someone who has a girlfriend,
Right.
obviously. So, like, there's never gonna be a situation where I get drunk and unblock him and talk to him again because, like,
Yeah.
that I like to text an ex, but not like that. And I
Yeah.
just think, I don't know. I feel so it just I guess I don't know if it brought clarity. I don't even know
God, you
what
took the moderator right out of my the words out of my mouth. I was
you're
gonna
gonna
say and
say
how
that.
I was gonna say, and now that you've shared all this, like, how are you feeling in this very present moment?
Great. Like, I feel like, that was a cord cutting ritual in itself. It wasn't like an actual cord cut, and
Yeah.
do I still think that the guy who broke my heart, 3 years ago, and I need to have our
Always
cords
gotta
cut.
bring him into an episode, of course.
Yeah,
Where are we heading now?
definitely, we do need our cords cut, me and him, but this guy, we don't need our cords cut. I feel like
Yeah.
that was the cord cutting. I feel like there was something in the very back of my head that I was still hanging on to, and I think my biggest fear was finding out he was in, like, another relationship, but when
You
I found that
conquered it.
out, I realized, like, and it also just has nothing to do with me, like, at the end of the day, we are just not compatible. I
Yeah.
also do not wanna be in a relationship with someone like him,
Yeah.
and I just feel like I don't think about him anymore. Like, I feel like before I was always thinking about him, now he literally genuinely, like I
Well,
wouldn't
yeah,
say he
'cause
never crosses my mind, but he was, like, pretty on the forefront of my mind for a while after we started hanging out again, which was
because
not
there's
a
always
to be in.
yeah, there's always, like, that what if, and now it's like, well, there is no what if because
Yeah.
it's not an option.
No, the whole point being, like, now I feel like that was holding me back, and now I feel really ready to move on. So I guess my whole point is that I'm not at all suggesting you text your ex. I don't recommend it. I more am saying give yourself grace. These things do happen, and, like, everything like, it all happens I don't know how to say this without saying like, making it sound like you should text your ex because I really don't think you should. I'm
We're
just
only human.
if we're only human and it did happen, and was I embarrassed about it? Yeah. Is it embarrassing that I said I miss you into response that he said he has a girlfriend? Definitely. That's all embarrassing things if I want to be embarrassed about them and things that maybe I shouldn't have done, but I did them. And I'm glad they happened now.
Mic drop.
Yeah.
I'm happy for you, truly.
Yeah.
I think
No,
that
and I really mean from the bottom of my heart now that I feel like
oh, I can tell. I know, yeah.
yeah, now I feel like officially feeling wholly fully I feel fully healed from this officially.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like there was a lot of wondering and what ifs and whatever, and I feel like those wonders and what ifs wouldn't have gone away for a bit longer if I hadn't had this all happen. And I feel like that just like me hanging out with him again showed me we are not compatible, but then I feel like now finding out that like he's in a relationship just put a full stop to my brain. And like now I feel like I can officially move on. So I feel like it was honestly like a gift.
Yeah, you're so lucky that you get closure because a lot of people aren't able to get
Yeah.
closure. But I do think in terms of hanging out with an ex in general, like I think that there's a difference between having closure and then or not having closure, sorry, but knowing that they're not the right person for you versus having these feelings like, "Oh, should we?"
Yeah.
If you're having those feelings and it's been a long amount of time, it's kind of like sometimes nipping it in the bud, realizing, "Oh no, we shouldn't," is actually
Yeah.
helpful.
Exactly. And I won't not to say that like you should. Like I have also gotten closure with exes. Well, I guess the only ex that I didn't end up hanging out with again was the one who moved to Abu Dhabi, so it wasn't really an option. Um every other ex I did, yeah, totally honest, every other ex I did hang out with again after we
Mhm.
broke up. And I don't recommend it, but I think it's just something that happens and it can be helpful information. So if you have recently hung out with an ex and you're feeling like, why the fuck did I do that? Don't be
Are
hard
we
on
allowed to
yourself.
curse like that?
It in the yeah, I was gonna say why the hell.
Mhm. I'm just yeah, that was hilarious. Carry on.
Now I feel uncomfortable.
No, it was just funny. Carry on. I just feel like we don't usually drop the F-bomb on here.
Yeah, I'm passionate.
Yeah.
Um, well, I've lost my train of thought now.
You were saying if anyone else is kind of going through the same sort of thing,
I know.
you're not alone sort of sitch.
No, I wasn't gonna say it was more profound than that.
Oh, I'm sorry. This is what we get for interrupting.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but if you're going through this, you're not alone. We all do it. Oh, this is what I was gonna say. In the words of our friend Jamie, wise, wise Jamie. The next morning, after I had texted multiple of my exes, I
Mhm.
told her something along the lines of I feel really uncomfortable. And she said something along the lines of don't beat yourself up about it. It's inevitable.
Yeah.
And not just like
You love she's it's because I'm such a narc and then she just probably totally validated you in that moment and you love to bring it up.
yeah, because it was awesome. It
I know.
it
Yeah.
made me feel like yeah, because I couldn't talk to you about it really. So it's like so it just made me feel like, okay. But it's
Yeah.
true, I mean,
No, it
I
is true. It is really
but
true.
everyone does it, it's normal, it's part of life. All to say, you're never alone, and no mistake is that serious, typically.
Yeah. I don't know if we wanna quote that one, but,
Yeah.
we're all just girls here.
Yeah, we're all
That's why we're
just
here. If you're still listening, that's why we love you. Like,
yeah,
it's yeah, at
yeah.
the end of the day, we're just girls.
And I hope this helps someone because I do feel embarrassed a bit in this episode. Like, I
You are
really wanna
brave to
title
share.
it something that has nothing to do with this, but I'm gonna title it something to do about texting your ex, and I'm just gonna be open and honest about it and feel embarrassed, and
Yeah.
hope that it's
Hopefully you
helping.
don't get a text from said ex.
Well, you
Am I
block.
right?
Yeah.
But if anything, that would be inappropriate on his end, so
So true. So, yeah, I mean, I guess that's it on my end.
alright, well, thanks for sharing. I enjoyed listening.
Thanks for listening,
Yeah. I guess we'll
and
see you next week.
we'll see you next week. We love you, and have a good weekend if you're listening to this on the
Yes.
weekend.
Happy Friday. We made it.
Yeah, hell yeah. Happy Friday.
I can't wait to hear myself say that in 2 days. All right. Bye.
Silly.